here to stop people going on the bridges and things. But you will notice no shadows. There's no shadows on the people. There's no shadows anywhere. It's all done without shadows. All the lines going back are virtually parallel. You can see on the top of the scroll, people are just nearly as big as at the bottom of the scroll. But later on in the scroll, it'll be a lot farther away. It's a beautiful thing, a beautiful thing. I'll just read you something George Rowley writes about these scrolls. In the European tradition, the interest in measurable space destroyed the continuous method of temporal sequence used in the Middle Ages and led to the 15th century invention of the fixed space of scientific perspective. When the Chinese were faced with the same problem of spatial depth in the Tang period, they reworked the early principles of time and suggested a space through which one might wander, and a space which implied more space beyond the picture frame. We restricted space to a single vista, as seen through an open door. They suggested the unlimited space of nature, as though they had stepped through that open door and had known the sudden, breathtaking experience of space expanding in every direction and infinitely into the sky. Again, East and West look at nature through different glasses. One tries to conquer nature through science, and the other wants to keep alive the eternal mystery which can only be suggested. Well, China might be going to science now, I don't know, but probably is. Okay, so this is Persian art. No shadows, no vanishing point. Indian art, no shadows, no vanishing point, no shadows. Indian art, no shadows, no vanishing point. Indian art, no vanishing point, no shadows. A night scene, no shadows. Japanese, no shadows. They don't see shadows. There's a famous remark of the Empress of China when one of the Jesuits painted her. She famously said, "I can assure you the left side of my face is the same color as the right side of my face." Japanese, no shadows, no shadows. Here's European art, no shadows. This is the Bayeux tapestry, about the 11th century, no shadows. This is the continuous method that they destroyed. But what we want to know is what happened in Florence with Brunelleschi. And Brunelleschi, who made the vanishing point. Well, what Brunelleschi did was something very, very simple indeed. You'll see in a minute. They had to open the doors of the Duomo. This was done at 7 o'clock in the morning because I'd calculated the sun would be on the baptistry and it would be dark in here. So we went inside 3 braccia, and then with a 5-inch diameter concave mirror projected the baptistry onto the panel, and that makes a perspective picture. The lens makes the perspective picture. And then Brunelleschi would draw it, and then they'd work out the perspective. I mean, then it was worked out mathematically. and it would be very exciting. But I think this is how it began, because it's the simplest method of all, just a small mirror. Mirrors, and then you just draw the lines, and it makes a perspective. When those lines are continued down there, they'll make a vanishing point, and that's the origin of it, I think.